Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our audience wherever you are. So I'm so happy to announce that this is our 13th Sparks webinar, and that also means this is our final webinar for this year, for season one. And for those of you who just joined or who have joined, I'm again happily would like to recap and reintroduce ourselves. Who is Synapse QA? So Synapse QA is basically a community-driven platform, and it is free for everyone to join. Although the major crowd is a QA, but we also have a crowd from the development team and also project managers. So what Synapse QA is doing is that we are the content curation partner, and we are also the accountable partner whenever there is some global events or global conference that is happening around the world. So as for our final webinar's topic for today, it is called Blameless Environment by Arshad Zakaria. So a little bit about Arshad. So Arshad is actually a DevOps enabler, and he has over 10 years of experience where he developed his skill set to help companies to increase development velocity in terms of speed and the reliability and quality of the software development. So based on what he has done, he has actually helped organization to establish the DevOps culture, and he is a AWS community builder and also one of the co-organizer of the DevOps Sri Lankan community. So I'm happy to welcome Arshad to the floor because I'm so how to say intrigued to understand why he chose blameless environment as the topic. So who are we not blaming about actually? So go ahead, Arshad.
Thank you, Shafina.
Yep.
So before go ahead, let me share my screen.
Sure. Yep, I can see your screen.
All right. Okay. Hi, everyone. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon. So I'm Arshad Zakaria. Currently, I'm working as a DevOps consultant at Pollard, Singapore. So basically, what I do is I enable DevOps in organizations and help them to improve their DevOps culture and practices to go on, like improve their organization current setup. So I chose this topic because I feel like this is like a area where we are not talking much or we're not highlighting, because we have seen a lot of basically most engineers in this field, doesn't matter, it may be a quality assurance engineers or DevOps engineers or software engineers or project managers, whoever. Some engineers have been this thing like the stress at office or like the working place they're doing, and sometimes they're going through this anxiety and pressure or whatever. So actually it can lead to this kind of this blameless environment or the blameless culture what we're talking about. So before we go to the blameless culture, I thought of go a bit about DevOps first and understand what is DevOps and how we can help DevOps to improve these things. So I want to make sure understand what is DevOps. So DevOps is like Dev and Ops, right? So Dev is like create changes, add to modify features, bug fixes, new releases, and that's the Dev part, right? So operation is basically create the stability of the infrastructure and the operation side, and create an enhance services. So you create service, then same time you have to enhance it as well, right? So because for example, if you're having a shopping cart or e-commerce platform, this year maybe the infrastructure is supporting like 10,000 users per minute. So next year you have to enhance for like 100,000. So and monitor observability. Observability is one of the key pillars as well. So what's the problem? There's a common problem you always see, right? They always say that, okay, it's working in my development environment, but I don't care now it's not working in the client servers. It's ops problem. So ops can ask, right, the client cannot use your own computer to run the website, right? Or whatever the application. So this is the main problem. So like the passing the ball and, not taking any responsibilities for their own thing. So these are the main few of the main areas that what we can talk about, like about these cultural barriers, right? Disconnect between the groups. So even personally, I have seen like a couple of years ago with my experience that even the groups, right? this may be funny, but like even for a lunchtime, right? They hang out with their own groups. Like for example, if the front end team, they have their own groups and they go with their groups, and if mid operation team, they only hang out with them. But I think it's not the right way. You have to be. I mean, like there cannot be a disconnect between any groups. Like you have to be collaborate, communicate, and so on. And conflict and inefficiencies, right? Yes, then there's a conflicts happening, right? So there are the main problems are coming. So people call it at politics, maybe penalizing, we can call it whatever we want. Then devs don't deploy consistent software, so the consistencies matters, right? So imagine this month release is okay and next month release something else, so it's going to be a big disaster. So ops are motivated to resist changes. So I have seen that when you go to a sysops engineer or sysops person or administrator, someone, what will happen? Ops, they always resist to change. They say like, okay, it's working already, right? Why you want to change it? It's working already. Don't need to change. Just let it be run. So and the operation process is static. That's one of the main thing. Personally, I've seen that. Okay, they log into the production servers and try to edit things, and it's like production is the playground. So it's not a good practice. So what's the solution? Yes, then the DevOps term came to this rectify these issues. So the DevOps is not such of a tool or not a person or not something else. It's part of three things. It's DevOps is a combination of culture, practice, and tools. Okay, that increases an organization ability to deliver application service high velocity, right? So basically, what it helps to deliver the application can be features, bug fixes in high velocity. So let's get a good example like eBay, Amazon. Rarely we see anything downtime going on this alt right? So, but when their Christmas changes are coming on, they deploy, no any issues. And I've heard this crazy term when my friends ask me that you have a deployment on a Friday night. So I don't know why people are scared that there's a Friday night deployment. So that means they're not practicing proper DevOps. So if you're having proper DevOps, the culture, practice, and tools in organization, nothing to worry. You can, if you want to deploy anytime, you can deploy, no issue. So these three areas are the main thing. So a lot of people have this misunderstanding or misconception of DevOps. Is like they think, okay, the Kubernetes is DevOps. Knowing AWS is DevOps. If you're a AWS certified engineer or Kubernetes certified administrator, you're a DevOps engineer. No, certifications are, yes, therefore, improve your knowledge and, for those things, but doesn't mean that you're doing DevOps. DevOps means mainly you should cover these three areas. Without a culture, I don't see there's a DevOps going on. So without practice, no. Without tools, no. So it's combined all together. So I'm slowly coming to the topic. So that's why I wanted to talk this before I come into the DevOps culture. So culture is represented by the human communication, and it can be technical process, tools, and integrated together. Like I have a good example, right? So if you have an organization, you have scrums, maybe scrum meetings. You're doing a retro after that, maybe 2 weeks. Then there you have to communicate. Like you're human, right? You're not robotics. So you have to communicate and your problems, your issues. If you're a blocker, you have to come up with that. And especially the automation. So later we can see what are these with some real-time scenarios why I'm talking about this. So automations are really important, right? I think when it comes to automation, basically there's a favorite wording that I'm not much remember about that clearly, but it's like basically like you have to automate even your job as well. So kind of like that. So sharing feedback is really important, and knowledge sharing sessions, and the best, I mean, like you see the best practices. So sharing feedback is really, really important. I mean, like I have seen some engineers or some, we call it as people, taking this sharing as personally, but no. If you're getting, I never say a feedback as a negative or positive. Yes, you will get nice positive feedback, right? Like, okay, or this person, you're doing good and you're very energetic and you keep up the good work. Yes. And same time, you can get a feedback like, okay, sometimes you have to slow down. you have done a few mistakes, and without checking like properly or without any proper reviewing. So that thing you should take as a positive as well. Like that's the area you have to improve yourself. If you have a mindset that okay, I know everything, and okay, this person is not knowing anything, just asking me to slow down myself, what he's talking, blah blah blah. So it's not going to improve yourself, or it's not going to help anyone. So DevOps culture, it's really important to have a DevOps culture in organization, to sort out these things, right? So we'll go the DevOps practices next. The practices are the less infrastructure as code. We have called IAC. Now we have the GitOps as well. So if you have like 3 environments, dev, UAT, production, or multiple environments, you should be able to recreate the infrastructure from zero without any issues and manage to a code level. And CI, continuous integration. So developers should be able to have a good platform to do the CI, and where the QA automation is coming in as well. They run their test cases and they get the reports. So continuous integration really important, and the continuous delivery. So if you're practicing the best DevOps practices that you can able to do a Friday night or Friday morning or any day, Monday you should be able to do it. So altogether CI/CD, and the release management should be automated. For example, like you should be able to have push button deployments, push button releases, and if there's anything like you can have the level of criticality, you can manage it, and you can have like a different level of criticality of your deployments, and you can use different methods, like it can be a canary, a blue green, so you can automate those things. And observability is a must needed for anyone. It doesn't mean like a developer, for anyone is observability needed, even for the FinOps as well. I'll give a good example. If you're using maybe an AWS infrastructure, and your observability is not much good, and the bill is increasing day by day, every month there's a new $1,000 adding. So if you don't have observability, you don't know. It's like for example, the same scenario, you're using a RDS database server, and it's maybe underutilizing. You could have gone for a low one. So if no observability, you cannot do it. And how your application is performing, what are the bottlenecks? So it's a different topic. Maybe we can talk about this in another day. And I really love that area, the observability. And next one is the tools. Where the tools comes, the Jenkins, Kubernetes, Selenium, what are tools? These are tools like help to improve the DevOps practice and the culture in the organization. The tools. The thing is, tools can be replaced by another tool. Okay, so today maybe we have the Docker and we have Kubernetes. So tomorrow maybe we might get a new technology. So we have to, we should understand knowing these tools is good, but it doesn't make having a best DevOps practice or a culture. So this is called CALMS framework. So CALMS framework, you see, right? It started from the culture. So the culture, that's what I keep telling, that the culture is really important to DevOps or any organization. It's one of the main pillars, if I say, yeah. So let's go with this real events of the scenarios in an organization. So let's assume that okay, there's an engineer called someone like A. The engineer is deleting the production database or table mistakenly. And the second one is push a high vulnerability model. Like, okay, you're using a Node.js application, npm packages are there, and you're not scanning properly, and you're pushing these one module to the repo. And code changes in production environment. This is really nice. Very interesting. So how can someone use the production as the playground, right? You should have a purple environment or a dev environment for do these things, right? And manual QA test can miss a bug or some issues. So yes, right. So imagine, right? If you're blaming that, so you cannot get rid of that. So the blameless means how we can get rid of these things. So I'll explain all these scenarios. If it's a blame culture, if there's someone blaming, you will get a warning letter. Maybe people penalized the teams. They will ask who did this, who did the database. Let's fire that person. Okay. If it's a blameless culture, let's take it as very nicely simple. I know there can be there's some financial loss, but it will go as a team. I'm happy to say the place character working, the places I have worked, I always came up with a blameless culture. That's why I know why this is really, really important. Even personally, it happened to me. Um, so, okay, if the production delete the database, so then the something with the three pillars we're talking about, tools, practice, and culture, right? Then we have to talk about the practice. So that means this engineer or someone has a access to the production database and delete permission. So that's something wrong in the process. So the problem is then as a rectifying this issue to prevent in the future, we can do is we can come up with a process. Okay, you cannot delete a database with this user. It should be our super privileges, like a hierarchy. And for example, we can give like MFAs. You can have a token to you can you have to type it manually to delete. So there are precautions, right? For example, if you're going to delete EC Vincent from AWS, right? It will ask, "Are you sure you want to delete it?" Then again, it will ask, "Okay, then if you're sure, then type the EC2 name." Same like the RDS, especially RDS. RDS, it will ask like 3 times, "Are you sure you want to delete it?" If yes, then type. Then it's asked before delete, you want to take a snapshot. So precaution. So people can do mistake, right? So we can have some process like that. So this push high vulnerable models to repo. Yeah, then that means something your problem with automation cycle, definitely, because then you have to come up with a good DevSecOps platform where your code is always scanning throughout from the CI to final after all the QA tests done to the final delivery. It should be even the artifact should be scanned. So that means if you don't have proper security infrastructure, then where the DevSecOps comes, right, help to prevent these things. So, and the third one is code changes in production environment. Again, right, especially like languages like PHP, right? You don't have to compile the code, so you can just basically log in and you can save it. So I'll tell you example, like, okay, if you have a auto scaling infrastructure, or if you're like, okay, let's forget auto scaling, let's assume, okay, we have like 5 servers, PHP web application running on, and they want to change something in code level. They change all in 4 servers and they forgot to change the 1 server. So what will happen? All the requests getting that server giving trouble, right? So it can cause a lot of issues, and you can do a mistaken space, or you can miss a semicolon. There's a big disaster. So then the war room is like heating, right? Everyone is like no idea, because it is like a intermediate issue, right? Sometimes working, sometimes not working. Personally, I don't like it. If it's not working, it should not working. Then we can find out what. If something like this is very hard to troubleshoot, right? Then the manual QA test missing. So it's sad to say, I think some organizations still, they use manual testing. Some places they need manual testing, yes, but still you can automate certain level, or you can full automate, depends on the domain you're working. As a human error, you can miss a bug. I'm sure you all had this experience that this has happened before. So why is blame is bad? So if the blame is bad, like I told you right before, the ops always, they resist to do any changes. So same like the devs like fear of new features. If they want to do a new feature, they fear, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to break something or not. So they're not going to do anything new. And psychological issue, they always like think, oh, if I do this, okay, what will happen? Are they my lead going to blame me in front of everyone? Are they going to penalize me? Okay, if my code is like in a bad quality or bad way, if I do it like in a simple method, okay, right? If you want to do something like, for example, if you want to do a small query and you print something, or a small array, I'm just example I'm saying, okay. So no need to go like a complicated method, right? If it is simple, you're doing a simple way. It is good. So don't think like I have doing like a complicated manner, add all the things. Okay, for example, I'll tell you, okay, you all know that Kubernetes and Istio is the service mesh, right? You think you're running in one WordPress site on a Kubernetes cluster using for maybe few pods running on Istio. It's not going to practical. You can do it, but check the cost and the performance of the application not practical, right? So same like that. Um Always think the simple way. So, and don't think that someone gonna penalize your code or penalize. So that fear of psychological issue, okay, that thing is there, and the dishonest, right? So always they try to hide something. If anything goes wrong, they keep silent or they put a few day annual leave. They just leave. So the war room is always heating up. No one knows what happened, so it takes more time. The SLAs and SLAs gone down, then already clients are angry, so on, and the stagnation. So what will happen? The same engineer will be same ways. They will follow the same method. For example, if you are doing the code deployment using a bash script, whether they can replace with Ansible or something like that. So they're scared to touch the Ansible because it's already running. So why you're touching? So that mindset is there, right? Why is better actually? Blameless is better. So no one is afraid of make mistakes. So they love to try things out, new things, and it's okay because no one's gonna blame. And it's interesting, right? The team will work together and will collaborate. The psychological secure, right? The psychology, they know my job is secure because people are scared of losing their jobs. Maybe everyone have every agenda, right? Maybe some families depending on this engineer, so we cannot blame them. Sometimes you have to agree with that person that person is scared of doing things because he or she might scared that leaving the job, losing of it. So if the psychological security is there, so they have this mindset to do new things and honesty especially. So I remember once something happened to me like this. It's related to something a code change like that in the production. I had to do it because it was a Christmas evening. There's no time to deployment because I got the approval and stuff. I do it, but I mistakenly missed one of the server. Then what happened? One server went down, but thankfully we figured it out. Even because we're working as a team, so one team member figured it out. So we removed that server from the out of the cluster, and immediately I inform my manager. Okay, this something happened. So he was very cool. Okay, no worries, Arshad. Don't worry, we'll remove from the cluster and we'll figure it out. Meantime, other DevOps engineers are planning for the release to fix this hotfix. So it should be like that. You're very honest. So imagine, right? If I'm being silent and if anything goes wrong, no one knows what happened. Everyone will be spend time and days, nights to figure it out. It's a big disaster. And innovations. This is really important. Without innovation, you cannot move on and you cannot improve things, current organization, or even though even for personal, if you want to in your career build, right? And positive and workers, right? So even listening, right? So the way I'm explaining the blame culture and the blameless culture are two different, right? The very positiveness is there. So no one going to blame you. You can try this out, and there's opportunities, so on. So the workers will be happy. The company turnover will be very low. Everyone will stay in the company and improve as a team. So let's assume production is down. There's suddenly something went wrong. Let's say something went wrong and production is down. So next one is we are doing a post-mortem, right? So why went down and what's went wrong? We have to do a post-mortem. So in post-mortems, we call as a blameless post-mortem. I'll explain you why. So blameless post-mortem. So if anything goes wrong, rather you blame the engineers. Okay, why you have done this? You see now we lost this kind of $1 million, and why you are doing this? You're going to get fired. No, blameless post-mortem. What will happen? They go into war room together. Everyone is open up. They share their part. Okay, for example, they did a release tonight, and something went wrong. Now it's recovered. We deploy the release version 1.2, and something went wrong. So we roll back to 1.1 version. Then we do the post-mortem, what went wrong and why is this happening. Then rather blaming that the entire team or engineer, the lead, the team will sit together and share everyone what are the changes, and the project manager will go through the releases, what are the features, what are the any code, all the code commits, what are the changes we have done, and we have to be very honest with them what we have done. If you're seeing something, okay, I did this mistake, you can open up and tell, okay, this happened. Then the next time we can make sure we can prevent. How we are going to prevent this, and so on. So when it comes to post-mortem, this really important, this part, keep in mind, when be very honest and be blameless, then you can save your time rather blame anyone, and the money time will goes on, and you get nothing. uh, you get nothing, but only the people will get hurt. Some people may get very seriously and can be lead to anything. So blameless culture best practices. So these are the few best practices. If you're going to have blameless culture, open communication, mistaken friendly. So open with anyone, like the with your team members. Even I don't know, some companies I've seen people calling. I don't know still they're possible, but I've seen calling sir, like elders, like we are not in that culture. We are in different culture. So open with your lead. Okay, you can have a cup of coffee, if anything, chat. It's not about only the work. You have to be open, communicate. Sometimes you need someone like for example, like Paolo, right? Paolo, we have mentors for each and everyone. So my mentor is really, really cool. So each time when I need any help, and if I feel like I want to talk to someone, so we book a call like 30 minutes. After the call, I will very nice. So my mentor she will give me advices what to do, and we always communicate. So communication is one of the key pillars, right? So, and make sure you um give that idea to the other employees that okay, we are mistaken friendly, and accept the mistakes and be honest. If you've done anything mistake, yes, fine, you have to accept it. Okay, you have to say that okay, I've done this. Then as a team work together, and first you have to resolve the issue, then you can figure it out. Is there any problem in the process, if any issue in this process, or any approval levels, rather blaming the single person, and all in same page. So if anything going wrong, you should have all in the same page, and you have to sync up what's going on. It doesn't matter. Okay, for example, the front end engineer can tell, I don't know what's going on the infra, I don't want to know. No, not like that. Front end also should be able to know what are the infrastructure level, how the application is working. Like, I'm not saying like in detail, like an operation engineer, but in a manner like should understand. And consistency matters, right? So you're doing only this month very consistency, I mean like this month a good one, so on, and starting good in January. Like always we have these new year resolutions, right? I want to cut down the 10 kilo of fat, I'm going to do the certifications. But mid of the June, okay, fat, forget eating donut and stuff, and January again, like gain 10 more kilos more. So not like that. Consistency matters, so in anything. So if you're doing a good release in January, you go for the February, so on. And the collaboration. Without collaboration, I don't see. If someone asks me what I do, I say I do DevOps. I do enable DevOps. I don't like to say I'm a DevOps engineer, because the thing is, it's not a one person work. So currently I work with a lot of teams, a lot of team members in different areas. It's collaboration. So it's very for me, I love what I'm doing, to be honest. And it's very fun to like work with the different people, different team. I learn different things, and make fun, and it's productive and very nice. And peer review and second eye. So this is another one where we can go. Okay, I'll give example. Okay, if you're doing any production infrastructure changes, yes, we have to automate everything, but still there should be a manual approval, right? So take another person as a peer review. That doesn't mean no one having trust issues on you. No, if that person also going to do, that person will have another peer review as well. It's called a second eye. So it's like you're doing something, other person also looking at you, and looking at the screen, and if mistakenly if you're going to click something wrong, there's a high probability that other person will tell, okay, don't do this, you're going to click this wrong thing. Okay, so that's why this peer review is really, really important. And implement SRE. So SRE mainly comes with so Blameless mainly comes with the DevOps and the SRE. And when you're talking about the founding principle of SRE, Blameless, it's taking one of the key pillars, one of the pillars. So keep this in mind. These are the really, really important to have this blameless environment or blameless culture. So imagine, right, the productivity, if you have like something like this, the product is going very high and everyone is happy. If you are a CEO, if any CEO, like is anyone CTO listening to this one, so imagine if if your engineers are productive and willing to give you the best out of best, your business is growing, everyone is growing. So if you have a toxic environment or toxic culture, no one going to get help from that. Everyone is going to be very sad and keep leaving the company. Every time they're going to hire you, keep hire, and people leaving, hiring, leaving. It's a disaster. So these are the main important about this blameless culture. I think these are one of the key areas we should talk. We always talk about sessions, okay, how Jenkins working, how Selenium working, how AWS working, but it's more technical. But these are like the process and the practices are really, really important to keep this organization running. Yeah. So thank you very much for this opportunity, Nitin and Safina. So hope you'll enjoy this one. So if you have any questions, please go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, Arshad. Let me check on the chat box first if there's any question. Okay, no, at the moment, but I've posted one
Yes.
from mine. Meantime, the rest can still post your question if you have any. So let me pin my question to the stage. Could you
Yes.
briefly break down the DevOps practice, especially on the observability in 3 areas, so that we can get some
Yes.
ideas?
So you want to see the 3 areas of the observability, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when observability, right, we have is tracing. Uh, um, there are 3 pillars of observability, right? So we have tracing, and we can call as a APM, like the monitoring of the application. Then you can trace. Tracing means like you can write your code where that you can trace how your application is performing. What are the bottlenecks? For example, if you have any like a bad SQL query, a bad function, so you can trace. Okay, this is the area that's happening. And the monitoring also. When you call monitoring, we can talk the metrics, right? What are the metrics you're going to monitor? So it doesn't matter, okay, if your service going down, someone is saying, okay, 90% the CPU is going up, then service down. No, that's not the proper observability. You should understand um, um, why it's happening and what are the improvements we can do. So when it's come to DevOps, right, we do 50% of new things, and the new other 50% is improve the current infrastructure. So there are new things, something like AI ops in the industry now, where you can, uh, you know, next year Christmas how we are going to have your infrastructure. So you can suggest something like that. So those are the main areas of metrics, tracers, and monitoring, and the application APMs, right? I think APMs like the paid versions like New Relic, Datadog, the paid versions also there. Like and same time you can set up like Grafana with Prometheus or ELK stack, Kibana, Logstash. You can go with like that as well. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Another question from Nitin. Let me pin it to the stage. Many organizations didn't realize that DevOps is a change process and often end up in failures. Could you please share a few steps or tips to define DevOps effectively in an organization?
Okay, so change process. Fun.
Take your time.
Yes,
It's quite long.
yes, no worries. So yes, Nitin. So many organizations realize that they always change process and often end up in failures because they think that okay. The good example I'll give you. You check the job description when you're hiring. They're looking for Jenkins, Kubernetes. They're testing your knowledge. No one is asking. I mean, certain number of companies only, just organization checking this what is real DevOps is. So if you want to step by step like efficiently in organization, you cannot change this in like within one night. It should come with the mentality first. So it should come from the top to the bottom always, because uh, it's a good example. Like, it doesn't mean you're a startup. If you're maybe a SME or enterprise level organization, I have seen this startup mindset. They have like, we are a startup, we can do anything. We can, uh, we can install any tools. No need to do any POCs. No, not like that. It's very hard to say like, like where to start. But it's a process where like you have to analyze first what are your needs. Like, it's like when you do the requirement engineering, right? We have this what question and why question. So always people more intend to ask what, like what you need for these organizations rather than why, right? So I think that mindset is matters. So if I want to define the efficiency in organization, yes, it's the mindset first. You should have that mindset to accept things, like I mentioned before. If you're doing wrong, that's wrong. There's no anything like okay, I have a mistake, I'm sorry, and yeah, yes, that those are the things like you can come up with.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Next one is my question again. I always have lots of questions. It's just that let me prioritize those in the chat queue first. Okay, let me go back to the Q&A. What is the characteristic of a good team where blameless environment is in place? What I'm trying to say is that how do we know, just by looking the way this maybe our peers is talking about their company or their team, right? We know that they are actually practicing a blameless
Okay.
environment. So what is the characteristic that you see in them that makes them a good sample to tell the rest of the world that hey, this company and the peer of mine is actually having a blameless environment in their workplace. Yeah.
Okay, especially the turnover, right?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah. I
people
don't
are,
like
that's the
this.
main thing, right? Okay, so I'm not marketing my current place, right? But Palo, I do, right? When talking about Palo, we have a blameless culture, everyone is very transparent. Nothing, nothing like hiding, like from the high management to the engineer, like I mean the hierarchy, right? Everything is transparent. Have an opportunity to feedback sessions, like even I can give the for. Have you seen somewhere like I can give the feedback to my high manager? No, right? Usually it's the other way around, right? So we can give the feedback either way, like each way. So the turnover is, if the turn is really high, that means something very wrong. If you see this company advertisement always trying to hire always, that means something really wrong. And you see people are leaving. LinkedIn is always updating, right? So that's bad. But it's two ways. Again, with that you cannot judge. Sometimes, okay, maybe a company started 5 years ago, and after 5 years, a lot of people leaving in 5 years because they already stay in 5 years. Maybe they have other opportunities, right? So it's very complicated. But you can see from the the productivity of the employees, and are they happy? When they're having a coffee chat, how they like keep blaming the company. Different characters in the companies, right? Some are like blaming that, okay, I'm going to leave this place. I don't like it. But I have seen some of my previous places. Some people keep saying this but never leave. These people, yeah. So it comes with the toxic people as well. I would say that. So uh, then highman should understand about how to get rid of this toxic culture. If they have already, then do some serious changes. But always they should see what they need. For example, not about the working culture, right? Like, I mean, not about related work. Maybe annual leaves. They're going to add 5 more annual leaves for each of employees. Small thing, right? Imagine. So how they going to happy like that? So yeah. And if anything going wrong with that employee's work, like for example, like I mentioned, deleting a database, maybe some person is very late to come into the office daily. So have interview and have a feedback session, because maybe he or she going through something, a personal problem. Maybe mother is sick. We don't know. So I think, yeah, those are the few areas you can identify. I would say the first one is the turnover.
Yeah.
Personally, yeah.
Yeah, I do agree on that, because
Yeah.
also sometimes when I go through the job description on LinkedIn, right, there's always almost the same company with the same position keep on
Correct.
opening from one quarter to another.
Yes, correct.
You mentioned about promoting transparency from top down and bottom up,
Yes,
right?
correct, correct.
Do you do in what way does this transparency being applied on? What I'm trying to say is that, do you practice something like be beyond just the work meeting, right? Do you also have a meeting session just to log a 30 minutes time of everyone in your team just to play online games, and then okay,
Yes,
after
yes.
4:30 times out and back to work?
Not. We do every month, right? Paolo, we
Okay.
do every month. We have like
Okay.
a session for 1.5 hour. We talk our problems. If we have do KD session, for example, like if my colleague find out something new about the technology, it can be technical or non-technical, shares. After that, we have the virtual coffee because of the COVID, right? We
Mm-hmm.
used to do this in the office, but because of the COVID, we are doing it remotely. So there's another communication barriers there. So what we do, the company will provide you a Grab voucher for like $20 or $30. It depends on,
Oh
sometimes more
yes.
than that. Yeah, you buy some coffee or dinner, we'll have together and have a nice chit chat. After that, we play some online games, some brainstorming sessions. And recently, we played kind of a game. It's kind of a virtual cooking class. Yeah, so it's very very interesting.
Virtual
So
cooking class.
yeah, virtual cooking. It's not virtual cooking means not cooking. It's kind
Okay.
of you have to figure it out which dish from according to the ingredients. Kind of like it's a kind of quiz.
Right. Could you share the link if it's free so that we can
Yes,
try as
sure.
well? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
yeah.
something like that, and virtual escape rooms. We did one of escape
Ah,
room like 2 months ago, I believe. So those are the team bonding sessions, and we love to go to the office, and we go for a lunch, or maybe after maybe a couple of drinks
right,
after
right.
work. Like yeah, depends on yeah.
Right, right. Okay, that's good. Right. We are at the end of the blameless environment topic. So before we wrap up the session with Arshad, maybe Arshad, you would like to say something, or what will be your hope for 2022 with this topic that you have shared with us today. So what will be your hope for the audience who will be listening about this topic again for the year of 2022?
What I would say is please be blameless. Later, if you want, I can share more resources. You can find the Google SRE book. That's a good resource you can read. And Jim Kim, you can find his book is the DevOps Handbook. That's also one of the good books to read. So it contains a lot of use cases. The DevOps Handbook, there's a new version is there. I already bought it. It contains the use case of the Adidas, US Air Force. Those use cases are there. So I think better to understand how we're doing this. You better to understand other organizations how they are working on and how they are doing things. So I think that's one of things. So be blameless. Don't worry if someone is like, okay, if you try to do if you take the first step and try to explain to the high management, okay, we have to go blameless. You show the what are these impact and stuff. If they're not willing to do the first try, the second try, then leave, find a place where you can improve the blameless. Then yes, because no point, right? If you can't change them, you change. So like that, because some organization are good for some people, some different mindset. But when it comes to overall, when talking about blameless, I think everyone would love to work on that criteria. But rather than blameless, please don't misuse that one as well. Yes, that's the main thing I can ask. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Arshad. I
Thank
hope we
you.
can invite you again next year, which is just 2 days away. Right. And with that, I will call upon Nitin on stage to give some closing speech. All right. We have Nitin here. Hello, Nitin.
Said, hey Safina, hey everyone, good to
Hi.
be here.
So yeah, the reason why I call upon Nitin, because as I mentioned, this is our final session. So I would say I only met Nitin personally twice before COVID, and now I think like just a week ago. He is someone that I trust, and also the backbone of CNAPS QA. So this special closing is for him to share a bit about the journey that we have how to say conducted so far, and about super reads and whatever events that we may plan in the future. Go ahead, Nitin.
Thank you, Safina. So, yeah, let me correct you first. So, the backbone of Synapse is not me, it is all you, the synapses. So, without you guys, it is not possible, right? So, this is a wrap up speech. I'm not good in sign off speech or something like that, but let me try. So, Sparks and Super Reads, it's about to wrap. This is our last session for Sparks. We did 13 sessions and 3 live demos from our sponsors. And we had Super Reads. We have our final 12 articles, and we will be revealing the winners on January 1st. And thank you so much for the love and support shown to us by the community. And we will be back again for a better 2022, and we will definitely create more wonders in 2022. Yeah, that's it, Safina. Short and sweet.
Wow, that is super short and sweet. Okay, so that means I have submission for you. Maybe you can share. I'm going to share my screen, so maybe you can share a bit about what will happen on the 1st of January next year.
Okay, cool. So we have our final 12 super writers for super reads. And on 1st January, what we do is we gathered feedback from the audience. We have marks which is provided by our reviewers, and we have certain views and other criteria which is captured during this 2 weeks time frame. And based on that, we have a leaderboard which determines the top 3 winners of super reads and also the consolation prize. And we did few contests along this 2 months time frame, so we have winners for that. And also for Sparks, we had a leaderboard which is disabled now in our meet because we already figured out the leaders from that leaderboard. So yeah, all those winner revealing will be happening on the 1st January announcement from our side.
All right, thank you so much. So you won't miss it out because it's just like a few days away to 1st of January. So the next one is because like what Nitin mentioned, that he is not the only backbone. So let me show you the rest of the backbone of Synapse QA. Give me a moment. Let's see whether it can load properly. All right, I think this particular site has some glitch. So maybe Nitin, you would like to share some words about the rest of the team who is helping you, and what will be your hope for the team for 2022?
Okay, yeah. So sorry that we couldn't share the slide with the cute images of you, the entire team. So I would like to thank all the synapses who worked tremendously behind the scenes for making Sparks and Super Reads a super awesome event for the community. So it was just a random thought that happened last year, right? From that random thought, we traveled a long way, and along that long way, if we travel that long way, it is because of all these team members behind Super Reads, Sparks, and the entire Synapse QA. So I would like to personally thank Safina, Enrique, Ram, Priscilla, Anuradha, Maharaj, Sujit, Jayesh, Deepa. Okay, let me remember all the names. Deepa, Shruti, Amala. Yeah, those wonderful synapses behind the scenes. We haven't revealed their names yet to public. This is the first time we are saying the team member's name. Yep.
Right. So to the Synapse volunteer, if you feel that your name was left out,
Yes, yes.
feel free to send a support email.
Please feel free to send a support email to superreads@synapseqa.com.
Yeah, so I think with this Super Reads event and also the 13 Sparks webinar that we have conducted so far, is not completed without without a huge appreciation to our sponsor, namely Epictus, SLQ, Lambda Test, Test Sigma, Move Test, and also Test Project. So we hope that we can continue to engage with the sponsors again next year. And without further ado, I will be playing a video from Epictus. This is a video from the head of, I think, the head of commerce, if I'm right. Let me double check again. So let me close this slide first. Yeah.
Hello, Synapse QA community and Malaysia. I'm Satish Malila, Regional Director of Epictus in the Asia Pacific region. Apologies, I couldn't come live because of the time zone differences and also the holiday period. Before we proceed further, I want to appreciate the Synapse QA team for organizing such a wonderful event. It's a very unique. We at Happy Tools are very happy to be part of this. While you guys are gaining knowledge from the talks and the super reads from this event, I'm sure you've heard about Happy Tools before. We have done a demo 2 weeks back. So I want to take this opportunity to give a brief overview about the Happy Tools Visual AI platform. Let me share my screen. Happy Tools is an intelligent, functional, and visual testing tool using AI. So when we invented the visual AI, our mission was to provide an option where companies can deliver great customer experience for the applications they are building. Visual AI emulates human eye and brain in testing. It looks at your UI, whether it's a native application, web application, as if a human eye or your customer does in real time. You can use Visual AI to test your application across multiple devices, browsers, similar to a human eye is looking at it. And this invention has enabled for us to support the customers across the globe in different use cases, some like functional testing, visual testing, UI UX testing, comparing with Sigma, Figma, Zeppelin images, cross-browser testing, device testing, or like accessibility testing, localization testing, or PDF testing. Anything that a human eye can see, Aptitools has a Aptitools can be there to test your applications. We have the company of amazing customers that we work with. Many of the world's largest companies are already using Aptitools Visual AI to deliver this customer experience. We are in the pipelines, delivering their UI faster to the market, reliable, scalable, and quality that matches human eye. One thing that Visual AI doesn't get tired, it actually looks at your UI as if you look at it but multiple times, or your customer looks at it multiple times, giving the same reliability. There's no chance of flakiness of the results. Our AI is our strength. Be it banking, technology, retail, gaming companies, or anyone can utilize our AI to actually get the benefit of building the great customer experience for their customers. AI is scalable, so small or large doesn't matter to us. We have grown rapidly in the few years, and we have been able to provide that quality and reliability in testing with the AI that we invented. Our customers say this, and we also have done a lot of hackathons. Thought leaders work with us. They also done a lot of experiments with Aptitools and figured it out. We are a tool that can actually sit in any agile methodology practice or any delivery practice, delivering the UI to the customers. We can increase your velocity because you don't need to write test code, or 100 lines of code to use AI. One line of code is enough for you to actually leverage the AI and test your application. We can find more bugs compared to the traditional testing because automation is all about writing test code on what can go wrong. But adding Visual AI to your existing test, it will allow you to catch more defects which you didn't anticipate also, because it's comparing with the previous version of the application and finding all the differences that are not there in the previous version. And these differences are expected or not expected. Now with the ultra fast test cloud that we added a couple of years back, without writing any code and not running the same test across multiple browsers and devices, you run the test only once in your local or in your pipeline. We take the DOM and re-render the same UI across multiple browsers and device combinations and show you how your UI looks like. Now this is 30 to 40 times faster than the traditional approaches, and you don't have to write the code for every browser or device combination. Write once or test once. So what is Visual AI? Yep. So Visual AI is a computer vision that looks at the screen in the same way that you would. It emulates a human eye and brain. We spot only meaningful differences. Unlike any other pixel-based comparison tools, we only show differences that matter to human eye, something that the human can recognize. We look at an application whole page or a region or a small element as if and compares with the previous version of it. Now you don't have to train the AI. It has already been working, scanned or compared more than 1 billion images. It works out of the box. What is your text? Any text tag doesn't matter, whether you're using Selenium, Appium, or Cypress, Playwright, or using the enterprise testing tools like Tosca, UFT. We can integrate Aptitools seamlessly. And it works, it's easy to use, and it works straightforward the moment you add Aptitools Visual AI. Now, Visual AI has become vital for many organizations. I can talk about some of the use cases over here. If you're doing functional testing, regression testing, add AI, you see the difference, you see the efficiency of it. you're doing UI UX acceptance testing, or you're doing production monitoring, ensuring your website is always the correct way of rendered correctly, or it has been accessible to your customers. Add visual AI, you see the benefit. If you're doing a migration, compliance, accessibility, localization, you're testing some PDF or anything, add AI and you can see the difference. And this is what our customers have been already doing it and getting the benefit out of it. Now, the use case that I want to talk here, which is more common to your area, could be localization testing. You want to test your same website across multiple locale. Appletools is the best in this. Responsive web testing, we want to ensure all the customers that are using different platforms, different devices, different screen sizes should be, it's hard to test because the number of device platforms have increased over a period of time. Adding visual AI, you run test once in your Chrome, we can cover all the combinations with no extra infrastructure and coding required, whether it is a native app or a mobile app or a web application. Now, AI is great. It can actually does the job, but at the same time, it can integrate seamlessly with your CI/CD tools. We work with any tool available in the market because we can't work silo. We have to be part of your pipelines. Now, the capabilities like root cause analysis that allows the developer to understand why the issue also happened. We have the ultra fast grid to test your cross-browser device combinations at no infrastructure as well as extra code to be written. The other point I want to highlight is it's an enterprise readiness tool. So we are GDPR compliant. We don't require a connection into your network. So it's easy to get security approvals, and pretty much you can start the tool immediately once you want to onboard it. It's an enterprise tool readily available for you, utilizing from the day one. Now, how does the AI works? AI works is simple. It actually works seamlessly across web, PDF, or native app, whatever application, the same way. We are agnostic to any platform or anything that we tested. It highlights the differences. It takes a snapshot of the current application by using any of our SDKs. We have 50 plus SDKs available. You can get this information to our website. If you go to appletools.com/tutorials, we have given code samples for all the automation tools available in the market. Adding that one line of code that is ice.check, you can see how it compares with the previous version and highlights the differences in pink. Whether it's native app, PDF document, or a static or a dynamic website, it works the same way. We have customers been using like Twitter, Netflix for a long time, and have been able to get the leverage out of Appletools and was able to build that customer experience for them. I think this is a short and sweet overview about the platform. If you want to know more about us or you want to deep dive more, feel free to reach out to us, or you can reach out to Synapse QA team. They will share our contact details. That's it. Thanks for giving this amazing opportunity. Thanks Synapse QA team once again for this. Before I go, I want to wish everyone a very happy New Year. It's great to be part of this event, and we look forward to meeting you all in person, maybe in the next event. Hope the world will be, we can travel everywhere and we can meet people. Looking forward to it. Thanks everyone. Wish you all a happy New Year once again.
All right, so that is the wrap-up video from Appletools. So before I end the call, I would like to wish everyone a happy New Year. Stay safe wherever you are, and then I hope you have your 2022 resolutions ready. Or if you were to carry forward, that is fine. I'm one of those who carry forward some of my resolution as well. And thank you once again for making this Synapse QA journey for 2021 a memorable one. I hope I get to see all of you again from time to time. And if you feel that you would like to somehow help us in the future, in case you feel that you would like to volunteer or considering to volunteer, you can also speak to us. You can find me on LinkedIn or Nitin on LinkedIn as well. Or you can also find our group, Synapse QA on LinkedIn as well. Just drop us a message and share with us what is your plan for 2022, and we will see if we can help you along the way, because we would love to grow with you in the future. That's it from us. Thank you once again to Arshad and Nitin, and see you again. Bye bye.